Hello, everyone. This is Steve with Aptera Owners Club. A few days ago, Aptera Motors put out a Q&A in their Instagram stories, and I submitted a bunch of questions, mainly about production timeline. And unfortunately, they didn't choose any of my questions to answer, but they answered a bunch of questions. Most of them are things we already know, but I thought, it'd be fun to kind of go through them. So let's go through them. This first one is, can solar panels generate more than 40 miles a day of energy? And their answer is 40 miles is the max, making Aptar the first vehicle that won't need to fuel up for most daily driving. Now, theoretically, I think there is a way you could get more than 40 miles a day of energy. I suspect that in the summer, in far northern latitudes where there's more daylight, you may be able to get more than 40 miles. And also, if you used a solar concentrator and essentially turned the Aptera into a concentrate, put it under a concentrator, you could get more than 40 miles out of it if you did that. Of course, putting it under a concentrator is not practical and also probably would damage the composite by making it too hot. So I wouldn't recommend that, but there is probably some way you could finagle more than 40 miles a day of energy. But obviously, in most people's cases, this is going to be the max range, and overall, you're going to get less than 40 miles in most situations. Okay, so someone put in a reservation June 21st. They can't tell where they are on the list, and they said, our goal is to deliver as close as possible to the order in which the reservation was placed, but the order ID does not reflect your place in line. Your delivery date will depend on your specific configuration, reservation date, and where you live in the world. Yeah, so that's been very clear. They are going to make the 40 kilowatt front-wheel drive version first, after the Paradigms. And then it's clear that if you live in the United States, you will get it first. Most likely, if you live in California near them, you'll be prioritized as well because delivery will be easy. And then it'll be by reservation date. So I don't know. It's not clear that if you reserved a front-wheel drive 40 now that you would be placed well ahead of people that put in an order over a year ago and put in for the 60 kilowatt or the 25 kilowatt. I believe what they plan on doing is doing the 40 kilowatt and then the 25, then the 60, and then the 100. And I suspect that the 60 and the 100 are going to be very delayed, or at least I believe that 100 will be very delayed because it's going to add so much extra weight to the chassis that they're going to have to totally redo the suspension tuning for it. So, if you want it quickly, you should do front-wheel drive 40 kilowatt hour. That'll give you the best chance of getting it quickly. Will it have remote start? Most likely not in the first vehicles we ship, but we will introduce extra features as over-the-air updates as we progress the technology to pair with our Aptera app. The idea for the Aptera is really to be reusable and upgradable. Yeah, so they won't. So I like this. They're not gonna add a bunch of features that people want right at the beginning, but hopefully they will add them as updates if it's something that can be updated via software. And being mostly a computer-driven thing, you theoretically could add a bunch of stuff over software. What's the cargo weight limit? And so we've talked about this before. It's designed to carry 400 pounds of payload of passengers and cargo, or a max of 300 pounds in the rear cargo area if you have just the driver. So I thought that was a very low payload, but if you look at other cars like a Civic or something has like a 900-pound payload, and it's a 5-passenger car, and the average weight of an American is like probably 200 pounds, and so if you put 5 average passengers, that's well over the payload capacity. Whereas if you put 2 average size Americans in here, so that's 400 pounds, you still would have some, you wouldn't be over the capacity in a 2-passenger car. So this is quite a reasonable payload actually. Does Aptera charge while driving? Yes, we're always harnessing the power of the sun to travel further. So yes, it will, I think they talked about this in an FAQ earlier on. And the Aptera, the solar panels will charge it as you're driving, which is kind of cool. Will the Aptera also be available soon in Germany? Their goal is to sell worldwide. Our team will reach out to all pre-order reservation holders with more detailed timeline once we are nearing the start of production. Initial U.S. deliveries have been made, projected for Q4. So U.S. deliveries, initial deliveries are projected for Q4 of this year. And then they're going to go international. And if you're an international reservation holder, a little unclear where they're going to go. It sounded like Australia was going to be one of the first places. I mean, Canada and Mexico are definitely going to be very soon because that would be very easy. And Australia is next. I think it's because the width of the Aptera doesn't really interfere in Canada, Mexico, and Australia. In European markets, the width is probably going to be an issue for a lot of people. So you may be able to get one-off deliveries of small volumes, but I think mass delivery to European countries is going to probably warrant a redesign. Are you planning to go public in 2022? They don't have a date. They're hoping sometime in this next 6 to 18 months. So sometime in 2022 or 2023. I suspect it'll be very close to the start of production or soon after production. What changes will the off-road kit make to the vehicle? Off-road kit will have greater ground clearance and come with a different style of wheel pants to guard against curb and rock damage. Adventures await. So yeah, we've known that higher ground clearance and probably some kind of tougher material for the wheel pants. Total length of the car, 172 inches. Not much to talk about there. Is the car really made of plastic? We're using carbon, glass, Kevlar fibers in our structural body. So they probably, I'm guessing they mean carbon fiber, glass, fiberglass, and Kevlar fiber in structural body parts. They don't mention hemp, which was mentioned early on. So I don't know if they've given up on hemp or they're maybe using hemp in the interior non-structural body parts. So we'll have to wait on that. Does the window line block visibility? The side windows are split with an upper fixed glass and lower down, roll down window. It does partially block your view of the birds, but doesn't affect traffic visibility. You know, obviously having this little strip there is going to affect your visibility, traffic or birds, both. But you know, you can move your head a little bit and see around it. It's not ideal. Obviously, you don't want something blocking your way, but you know, A pillars and B pillars and C pillars on cars block visibility too. And so, you know, that's why these cameras are going to be very useful, the rear view camera and the side camera, and you can move your head a little bit. And something that's just hidden totally by something like this is not going to be that big. So I don't think it's going to be a safety concern. A little bit of annoyance, not a safety concern. There have been other cars. I remember some like early Subarus had a split window like this, and but you know they need to make a split window to give because of the shape of the dome here. So I don't think it'll be a big issue. Any updates on when production is starting? We plan to ramp production in the second half of 2022. Now, I think this is worded a little funny. You know, their goal is to deliver the first vehicles in Q4. So I suspect like 1 or 2 paradigms are going to be delivered sometime in this year. And that's kind of a best case scenario. The production ramp is going to be in 2023 probably. I doubt that there's going to be much of a production ramp if their first deliveries are at the very end of this year. Will there be a rear camera? Yes, right here. And that's where they're going to put it. And remember, the rear view mirror, the center rear view mirror on this car will not be a mirror. It will be a screen that shows what is in this rear view camera. So that's why having the back covered with solar panels is not going to affect your visibility through that rear view mirror, because the rear view mirror is not a mirror. It's a screen for this camera. Is it 1, 2, or 3-wheel drive? They're either front wheel drive or all wheel drive. So it's either 2 or 3 wheel. What if I want to fix the car? Is there a specific place for doing this? And so this, I think, is one of the best parts of the Aptera, is their right to repair. So they're going to open source all our services and build documentation that allows people to buy outside our service network, do service themselves with a local shop. We think the right to repair should be applied to every large person. We are very supportive of do-it-yourself rights. This is, I made a video about this earlier, this is one of my favorite features of the Aptera. You know, Tesla famously is like kind of the opposite of right to repair. They don't want anyone touching the thing other than themselves. And I love this about Aptera. It's a relatively simple car, should be relatively easy to work on, and they're going to give you all the information. I've suggested that they should make a video of the entire car being assembled, so you can see how it's assembled. I think that'd be a very useful video. And my goal on this channel is to have a compendium of videos showing how to do all the services and work on all parts of this vehicle once we all have it. And hopefully I can solicit contributions from the viewers and other people, other members of the club, to help kind of flesh it out. But that's kind of the plan. Can I pre-order if I'm waiting for this dream mobility machine in Europe? Yes. So yes, you can order, but the delivery is going to be delayed, obviously, to Europe compared to the US. Do you have renderings of the off-road package? Sounds like they're working on it. With all-wheel drive and vectorized torque control, okay, how will this handle in cold climates and snow? With all-wheel drive and vectorized torque control, Aptar will handle snow and ice very well. The extreme cold corner case is part of our development cold weather test plan. I'm not real sure what cold corner case is. If someone knows, please put it in the comments. But yeah, it's going to have all-wheel drive, and they've mentioned several times the reason they have, one of the major reasons to get all-wheel drive is for snow handling. Many people have mentioned that in snow areas, there's often a kind of a mound of snow in the center and tracks where the four-wheel drive cars go through the tracks. And that may present a problem with the center rear wheel. So I'm not sure. I suspect if it's a lot of snow, it will be a problem. But most places that get snow plow the snow fairly regularly. If you're in a place that doesn't plow snow, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm guessing it's not going to be great for that because of the exact thing that people are talking about. But they're going to have torque vectoring, which is good for handling even with or without snow. And the all-wheel drive definitely is going to be good. And initially, I was going to order the all-wheel drive, and currently my order is all-wheel drive. But seeing how all-wheel drive will probably delay delivery, I think I'm going to probably switch it to front-wheel drive. Okay, we looked at this already. Okay, so we've gone full circle. Yeah, comments below on any of these answers, and thanks for watching, and have a great day, everyone.